Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stay Fishy Friday. We got another show here for you. Hopefully, we're gonna have some fun tonight. We got our co-host Jerry here,
Howdy.
who's playing tricks on me. I went to sit down and he lifted the button on my chair.
Oh yeah, I did.
You said you did, and I sat down and went all the way to the ground. I'm like, oh my god, scared the Jesus out of me.
I
So
got
I
up to
fixed it.
get his glasses, and I said, "Now I can do it again."
That's what you said.
I didn't do it the
Scared,
first
gave me a
time.
heart attack.
Stuck my arm in the way, and he leveraged against my arm between that one and my.
You won't do that again, will you?
No, I won't.
Sorry about that. All right, let's get the chat set up. There we go. All right, you guys are all talking about the weather. I can get this set up.
Yeah, we were. I lost him down here.
All right, let me take this down here. Move this over so I can see how many people are on at all times. Right there. Okay, let's move this up there. Okay, now we're good. All righty. So this week, geez, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We've done all the videos and showed you all the work we're doing and how we're getting this accomplished, that accomplished. It's all getting done slowly but surely every day. So that leaves me with nothing to talk about. Drinking word of the day. What's that for the day?
Oh, I don't know, man. Suggestions?
Well, I'll go with Crypt Keeper.
No.
No. Then come up with something.
I don't know. Somebody said they like my hat. Why not the word hat? I don't know. That's not a very common one.
You guys hear everything okay? Looks good. Being old, I can't really see the screen. If it's out of focus or something, let me know. Always let me know. I'm just asking now this time. Yeah, we can do tank. We talk about tanks all the time.
Yeah, but that's almost as bad as last week's.
All right, so tank it is. Tank is the drinking token word.
All right. Get tanked.
Let's get tanked. Well, Sharon. Okay. Marie Dean says, "You're not that old, Big Rich." Well, I tell you what, I sure feel it. Being here for 4.5 years, taking care of Tracy like this, get 4 hours of sleep between my 16-hour shifts. I've turned silver haired. I mean, 4 years ago, this was the color of my hair. And now it's all just right here. I can turn sideways in the back end, but man, this front is turning silver. I'm going to buy that shampoo that's supposed to wash that gray right out of your hair and turn me back to some brown hair. Yeah, just for men, something like that. Oh yeah, that new paint. Matt LeMay brought it up. That new paint is working amazingly. I tried going in there with my finger and scratching some off, and I can't. It's like glass. It's like rock hard. I cannot, rip it up. I cannot start a piece. I cannot get anything into it. I can't even put a gouge into it. It's solid. And we tried scraping it off where you can see Josh painted some of the bars that are going to be on top, and that's all going to be black. So that we have to go over that just for beautification purposes. I don't want them bright blue. I want them black to match the outside of the tank. So I took and tried scraping off with a scraper. Man, I would hate to be the guy that has to scrape that stuff off. It does not want to come off at all. So it's a good product so far. Okay. My name is Nobody Says, "Hey, Big Rich, gentlemen. I am building a filter out of a 32-gallon trash can. Is it okay to have the intake at the bottom of the spillways, 12 inches at the top?" Okay, I don't like doing that, and I'll explain why. If you put an intake in the bottom and you have it fill up like Aquascape does for their spillway waterfall filters, the water fills up the thing and then it overflows out the spillway on top. Okay, I don't like doing that because now you're talking head pressure. Your pump has to fill up not only what the pressure of going down where the pump's in the pond down here, then all the way up to where the can is, and then it's got to fill that can, and that's a lot of weight in water. So that head pressure of that pump needs to hold up, all this poundage of water to have it overflow. I don't like doing that because if you got that full of biomaterial, if you the power goes out or something, then it's the whole top's open because the water overflows out, so it's gonna dry out real quick, and all of them, your bio balls in your biofilter is going to be open to air and die within 2-3 hours. So you're going to have a bunch of bio media die. The other way is I put it in its top, let it trickle to the bottom, and then flow out there. And you can decorate the can with anything you want, make it look like rocks, behind it and stuff like that, whatever. But then it's in an enclosed area that stays wet for 20 hours before any bacteria starts dying if you have no power outage.
Actually, that way you can power it with an air stone as long as you got a powerful.
You don't need a powerful pump at all. You just need enough to pump through the hose, getting to the top of that, and that ain't much. But that's my thinking on it. You can do it the other way, the way you're wanting to, but man, it's a whole lot more electricity, a whole lot more expensive pump, a whole lot more power running, and then you have bacteria die real quick. And Matt says it wears out your pump quicker. Someone actually listened to us. Says thank you from the top. It is. Thank you. I love putting out all my information and how it's so much better. And there's this reason, that reason, and then go, well, my neighbor said to do it this way, so I'm doing it that way.
About 3 people right in a row, added there. Yes, right. He's good.
Yeah. Well, that's how I got the whole fish room running, is on gravity fed.
Yeah.
Drip through. Systems. I'm running cheap pumps, powering big tanks. Geez, if I had to run everything on expensive pumps, we'd have to spend probably $10,000 in pumps to replace them all.
And every time something went bad, we'd be running around like a chicken with his head cut off,
looking for a $300-400 pump.
Trying to transfer water here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you get a big pump system like that, and then the pump goes out. Man, you got to do something with it.
Yeah.
The way.
Well, look at right now. Our Bellagio pump went out.
Yeah.
And we're putting water in from a Python hose to each tank.
Yeah.
And it's not doing good. We're feeding less so that we don't make it dirtier.
Yeah.
But it's staying cloudy, and we're waiting on a new pump to come in.
Oh, believe me, I'm on top of it.
I'm just saying. There's an example of how it happens. We're running a good, expensive pump.
We do what we have to do. The biggest advantage over those trickle filters is just hook up an airline system to them that runs continuously. Even if you lose your power, man, you can always, any little freaking size D battery bubble box will work. As long as it's moving water up to the top and trickling down slowly.
I tried hooking up this TV today. I don't have a stand to make it sit right where I want it so that I can see how many people. I can take the screen off of the TV and put it over on this screen and then have the count there. Right now it's buried below, two pages. I got the, what's that called? The OBS software, which shows the screen and us, and I can see what you guys are seeing. And then I have the chat screen open. And then under that is the actual YouTube page, for the live stream that shows how many people are under there. So I'd like to put that YouTube page over onto the other screen right here, but I got to find some way to mount this TV, 2 foot off the ground, whether I find a little desk, a little shelf, a nightstand, anything. I got to find a way to mount this there to be able to do that. Depth charge is here. What's up, buddy? Raheem says, my first filter was under gravel filter and then shifted to bucket filter with the power head. I tell you what, them under gravel filters are just like the best. Still to this day, they work really well, except for the buildup. You know, you had to have like a power head on it instead of just air driven, and then it didn't build up underneath there. And I never used it for a biological filter. Now, biomedia does build up under there, but I always use it. I use a little bit larger gravel, and I always use it so I never had to wash my gravel. The power heads on the under gravel cleared the gravel and sucked the water through, and then put it back out into the water column, and then my FX5 would clear out the water column. And that's what I use under gravels for, and I never had to, go in there and suction out my gravel. I thought that was great.
You're always going to get dead zones.
Now with a power head on under gravel, put one per plate.
Yeah, I use those reverse flow power heads with a foam sleeve on them.
Mm-hmm.
Just pull this foam sleeve every once in a while. We got a super chat.
Yeah, we'll get to it in a second here.
Sorry. I haven't heard the tank word in a while.
Oh, yeah. Tank. Oh, we are talking about tanks tonight. Again.
Yeah, we skipped a few of them. I hear all of them.
All right, there you go, Jerry.
Well, thank you, Bill Smith, for the $1.99 super chat.
Thank you, Bill.
You're no comment or question with it, but
no, he just wants to help out. Appreciate it. Now, see, if all 350,000 of our followers would put in that $1.99, oh my God, we'd have so much money to do whatever we wanted with.
And ifs were.
I know, but just imagine that. $1 from every 350,000. So $350,000, we could do the addition and have the Universal Rocks backgrounds in every tank.
Yeah, it's one of those pipe dreams.
It's a pipe dream because I try to put a GoFundMe and explain it to everybody.
Yeah, everybody on YouTube, give me a penny.
It would be something else.
I'd be drowning in pennies. Man, you talk about. I was looking up to see how much they asked for Daphnia. I was thinking about, seeing if I could pick up a couple thousand Daphnia to add to the river, the koi pond out there.
Yeah.
And
How much they want?
$70 for about 4,000 or 5,000 Daphnia. That's
What's that? One Ziploc baggie?
oh, it might be a couple of quart jars. It depends on how they ship them, how tight they want to pack them, how long it takes to get them here. I mean, you want them alive, but I'd like to get a good Daphnia colony going in that river.
Bill Smith says, I forgot to type a question. Let's see what he was going to say. Jim moved by. What happened to the Pacus at Legacy? I don't know. Something happened to them? As far as I know, they're fine. I haven't heard nothing. We brought them up.
I don't watch every Legacy video.
Yeah,
either,
but we brought up Charlie, the gray Pacu, and then we brought up the albino Pacu.
Yeah.
I think that's the only two we brought up, right?
I think there was others, not from us, but I think they had another one coming. From somewhere I heard they had another one.
Maybe something happened to one of the other ones that they just got or something. I don't know. Let's hope it's not Charlie. And let's hope it's not the albino.
I don't know, Bill. You tell us what happened to him.
Yeah, please.
You got us wondering. Excuse me.
Bob Taylor says, London, my favorite city. Why is London your favorite city? These are things I like to find out. Brock and Skylar know I have live stream right now.
That's probably right or wrong.
Okay, so Harley Jim says Charlie went to quarantine. Yeah, but that was a couple weeks ago. I'm sure he was out from there. That could be, something he found out about or something. I don't know. You know how stories grow taller on down the line. Maybe still in quarantine. I don't know. But yeah, I remember when we first got there, like 2 days afterwards, they said there was something wrong with Charlie, and they put him in a quarantine and gave him medicine and stuff. He was fine when we left. But they have different pH up there and all this different stuff. So I mean, anything can happen, or maybe one of the fish attacked them. I don't know. All I know is that they had
It's all guesswork.
Yeah. But that, I had never heard nothing about it. As far as I was concerned, he was back in his tank by now.
I think Bill Smith's trying to answer you.
I'm trying to find. Matt LeMay says all the fish there are fine. Okay, well, we're going to have to get to the bottom of that. Bill Smith says, I sent Rich a video a week ago. Well, let me see if I can find that. Can't see with these glasses on up close. Jeez, you're so far back. I can't even find you there. Let me look here.
Shauna, sounds like Shauna says the legacy pacu haven't been caught on camera in the last few posts. You can't go by that. Believe me.
Oh yeah, they hang out off to the side of the windows and stuff.
There's fish around here. I bet you they haven't been on.
How many times have we lost Brutus? And he was a 6.5 foot pipe.
Well, for a few hours, yeah, it was hard to.
We didn't know where he was. They disappear.
He gets under that wood and he's hiding good.
Oh my God. I'm still looking for Bill Smith here.
I can guarantee you there's fish here that have never been on camera.
Hey Bill, you're buried way in the background of thousands of other messages. Send me a message real quick. Just say hello and it'll bring it to the top and I'll be able to see what you were talking about in the video you sent me. Oh my God. Somebody from the United Kingdom. I can't have you guys, everybody calling when I'm on the live stream. There we go. Turn that off. Okay.
As long as you got Tracy on it.
Well, I can hear Tracy through here. We found that out last week. You can't hear Tracy.
No, I can't. That's
Remember, I was like, is that Tracy? And you're like, no. And I'm like, hang on. Yeah, that's Tracy. And I got up and left.
Can't wait till she can push a button.
Aggressive Fish Lover says it's hard on camera to tell where Jerry's beard ends and his hair starts. Think that's the truth. Oh, Bill Smith said he was there twice and no pacus in the tank whatsoever. I'm going to have to call Lori and find out what's going on.
It's all speculation right now.
I hope nothing happened to him. Well, Matt's right. He says there's no video saying they had a fish loss. But when their lionfish died, there was a video. When their snakes died, there was a video. So I'm pretty sure they would put out a video if something happened to them. It's possible, Harley says, maybe the pacu were eating wires and they moved them. They do have tanks in the back, with their filtration and all that. They're spare for quarantine and, a spare holding tanks.
Yeah.
That ain't out in the public.
That's quite an elaborate filter system back there. They could keep both those pacus in their sub just for that one pill.
Jesus Lizard says, why don't you guys put pacu in the pool pond? Because we have plenty of lights in there. We have power heads in there, wires running everywhere, and pacu chew the wires.
Tubing. They taste everything, and then they come back and taste it again, even if they didn't like it. They never stop tasting. It's what they do.
They bite on everything. So yeah, that's why in the 3,000 you don't really see any decorations, anything going on except for 2 lumps of driftwood in there. And you know they keep biting off the stems to that, the arms to it and stuff, and we keep finding floating wood all the time. But you know, if you put them in a pool and there's a seam where the seam comes together, they bite on that and then they rip the seam apart. Pool busts open. Any wires they bite on. So I mean, you can't have paku anywhere where there's.
I've seen them make a salad out of old PVC pipe.
Yeah,
Once
they
it
chew that
starts
up
getting a
too.
little brittle, that 1 inch PVC, just snap it off just like a twig. Oh, Raheem wants to talk everybody into donating $1 per person. Let's do it.
I've gone that dream before. I mean, there is a here. I've got one right now. Where's it at?
I got it.
No. I've got a GoFundMe right now. Started up when we got them new tanks. A bigger home for the fish in need. We raised $2,000, and you know,
That's
so far.
yeah.
Oh no, that's really good. But so far, it's cost me and Josh 31,000 for the 3 new tanks, and then all the paint. That paint was like $1,200 for the first set, and $1,600 for the second set. It's been ridiculous. So I can post this up, and you guys can add to that if you'd like. How do I share this?
Anybody who's serious about it, or just keep super chatting us.
All right, I need to share this somehow. Why isn't there a share button on this? That makes no sense.
Or even the Fish Family Link's getting in on it. All of a sudden they pop up, like what you see, make it official. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Time to get tanked.
Oh my God.
Rich is still figuring out his phone.
No, I'm not. I went to the GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe says it's deactivated by the organizer, which was Josh. So I'm calling Josh now.
Oh, well, maybe that's.
Hey, Josh, listen, everyone's talking about, $1, GoFundMe or $1 fund me type thing for OFR. And I went to go share
Well, thanks, Bob.
the link to our, GoFundMe for the tanks. Yeah, you deactivate it. Can you go back on there and activate it and share it to Ohio Fish Rescue? Oh, okay. Go to the one you got now and bring that up. Can you send me a link in the live stream and put one in OFR 501c3? Thank you, buddy. All right. That was Josh, everybody.
Hey, Bob Taylor says, let's do that. Donated $2 on Super Chat. So we're way ahead of you. Sounds like Rich is fixing things over there.
Someone just keeps calling.
Tracy and her gaggle, thank you much. $2. Everyone donate. We can do this. Holy moly.
Well, the problem is, you got the 5% of the people that really that follow us and they're like hardcore fans, and then the rest of them, the other 350,000 that are on Facebook,
yeah, you got to
don't even hear about it.
I mean, we weren't asking for monies. We don't do that. I got to be careful about what I talk about out here. If I say I'm hungry, somebody sends me a damn sandwich.
And I've made them feel bad about that too. You're taking advantage, this and that, blah blah blah. We don't want that.
Okay, we got 5 pounds from. I don't know. Back up a little bit. We just got Steve Miller. 5 pounds. The best way to contribute so you get the most money is this. We don't have to share it with the GoFundMe thing.
Oh, what is the best way to contribute so you get the most money? The GoFundMe, they don't take nothing out of that because since we're a 501c3, normally a GoFundMe, they have 30% they take out.
Yeah, that's
But
what I thought.
we're a not-for-profit 501c3. They give us all the money. So they don't take nothing out on us. Now, if I did it personally, Big Rich put up a GoFundMe, help me, I don't know, get new tires for my Camaro, that they take out 30%. But because it's through Ohio Fish Rescue and all the funds go into Ohio Fish Rescue bank account, I have to, prove where these funds have been spent through a bunch of different, IRS situations that I have to paperwork I got to fill out to say 501c3. So I can't misspend the money. I mean, I can, but I could get found out within 3 months and then I get in trouble,
Yeah, you just
So,
don't do that.
You just don't do that. But, that's so
It's not my money
GoFundMe's a
to
good way.
play with, it's just a
That's
business
how I figure it. It's not my money.
Thanks, Sue Ann, $10. She said we can do it.
Bill Smith says he lives right by the legacy and he's got a membership and have been there twice and 0 pacus in the tank. So both pacus are missing out of the tank unless both times he was there, Bill just didn't see them. It's possible, but highly unlikely. I'll call Lori tomorrow and find out what's going on. Did they move them? Were there problems? Were they biting things? You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of decorations in there, and maybe the pacu were eating the trees that they made inside there, like they did here.
That's all fresh concrete. So, I mean, it's not so fresh that it's raw, but if them pacu chewed off the outside coat on the concrete and got into some of the.
In other words, if they're causing trouble, they could have been moved. So I mean, a lot of things could happen. We'll find out. I'll call Lori and I'll have an answer for you guys.
Whoa, man.
Hello, 69.
In here. You guys are going to keep me busy here.
Hello 69 says sent. No, it didn't say nothing. Just sent $6.99 or $5.99. Thank you very much. That's amazing. And I don't like asking people for money. So when we put up a GoFundMe, it's for the few people that want to help. You know what I'm saying? And then we really don't advertise it. You don't see us having pushes for money. This week we're trying to reach, $1,000. Please help. We don't never push for money. We don't want to try and take for money because, again, I see this as this is me and my son's thing we did together. We built this together, and now it's gotten too big for our britches. You know what I'm saying? We've got way too in over our head, all this kind of stuff. So I don't want to ask people, please fund our hobby, and it's not our hobby no more, but it started off as our hobby. So, the bills are like $3,500 a month, and, I make $2,200 a month off of YouTube. So I'm still paying like, $1,300 a month out of my house things, as a donation to OFR. So once the YouTube channel starts covering $3,500 and more a month, things will get easier because then when it comes up, oh, we need some medicine. Well, I'll just buy that real quick. And then, I didn't have to pay the $1,300 for the last 4 months. I'll just buy the medicine, and it'll be easier on me. It won't.
Okay, we got depth charge.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for the $10. Marie Dean sent in $10. Hello 69 sent $5.99. Wow. Tracy, yeah, everybody sent there. Belmore.
Wow, why are you all sending money now? This is amazing.
Well, I was talking about it like that old joke about everybody on YouTube send me a dime and I'd be
right
set for life.
Here, you're gonna have to start reading these.
That's what I'm getting at, man.
No, you're reading your phone, which is way ahead of this. You have to read this because this is where we left off.
I know, but you're so.
No, it don't matter how far behind I am. This is current. That's ahead of time. That's in the future.
I'm watching them flash at the top.
Right. Don't worry about that. You worry about when they come up in the screens.
Okay.
Like this one here. We already answered this one. What was the best way to contribute to get for the most money?
Okay.
Josh is putting a link onto here to the newest GoFundMe we have for OFR. So it is through the 501c3, and it does go to that bank account that's monitored by the IRS. So no, like what's his name? The queen of drama, tried accusing me that I was misappropriating funds that was supposed to be meant for Tracy. So you can't do that. When it's a 501c3, the government monitors you. Okay. Sue Ann, here you go.
Yeah, I already did. Swan, $10. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sue Ann.
Use it all.
She didn't even say nothing. She's like, here, guys, here's some money.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Right
no.
under Sue Ann is Josh Price. He's got the GoFundMe right there.
Yeah, right below the Suez.
Lorenz Cortot. Is Jerry hungry?
No.
Jerry's always hungry. You know what? He can get done eating a full, 4-course meal that he just made himself, and I'll start making something. He'll be like, what you got over there, Rich?
Hey,
I smell something. What you got over there?
today Reaper brought some barbecued brisket sandwiches from a place that
Oh,
we
my
love
God.
very much. They're excellent and everything.
I never had one.
I
You never
just
had one.
got through eating. I was full. I mean, I just got through eating a pint of ice cream on top of eating. So I told Reaper, well, I'll just pull it out during the live stream and eat it in front of everybody. And he says, you do that, do that. Even I want to see that. I don't see Reaper on here yet, but
Aggressive Fish Lover says, he's answered Harley Gem, says, I agree. I figure they would keep Rich updated as much as possible. He did them a huge favor. I was honestly expecting them to show more love to the rescue considering everything they did for them. I don't, I didn't do it for the love. I did it because, I promised Brian, and then Brian bought a couple of fish, and then we had them here for him, and, everything together. Plus we can donate fish to them. And they actually paid us to rent a truck and bring them to them because they didn't have time to come pick it up. So it was no big deal. You're paying for the truck. Okay. We'll give our time. We do that all the time. We donate our time for all kinds of different things. And we went up there and we got videos out of it. I was happy with that. I'm not expecting anything more. They did good, and I thought it was a great time. And
ouch.
Okay. Depth charge $10.
Thank you very much.
Now, mind you, that's a combined 20 out of the couple, because that
Yeah.
whether Depth Charge gives some money or Sue Ann gives some money, it's still coming out of their money for the month.
Yeah,
They're
well,
together. So thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think they're just feeling a little bit guilty because they're not coming out to the
I was
sale
just
this
thinking
year.
they should spend that money on getting their asses out here for the picnic.
Oh, don't make them feel bad. They can't make it. They can't make it.
Not.
They're friends of ours. They know they're going to lose out. When we have, everybody here and all that, they're going to be like, man, we should have went.
Yeah, well, I got ulterior motives. I like to eat.
We're going to eat whether they show up or not, Jerry. You'll be okay.
I know.
Wow.
But
It's amazing how much food motivated this man is. Most guys are motivated by
I'm not the one in the
women.
competition. You guys compete for who can make the best stuff.
Oh, no. I succeed,
I'm just the happy judge.
Yeah, you are. Marie Dean put in $10. Says, yes,
Thank you very
we
much.
can do it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Marie. That's amazing.
I didn't.
Oh, hello, 69. Did we do this one or did you do another $5.99?
I that's the one I already mentioned when I got ahead of you there a little while ago.
Okay. Well, thank you, hello, 69. Appreciate it. If it's the second one, thank you very much.
So. Thank you. I wasn't counting on this. Right, like I said, it was just kind of like it reminded me of that old joke.
Oh, the Don said Brian knew how to care for fish the restaurant. Well, they got a new guy in there, AJ, and he seemed very competent. He's the one that gave me the walkthrough to all the things, showed me all the filtration and all this. He's the one that argued that they need a quarantine set up, that they need spare tanks set up in the back room because they didn't have any of that. And I was leery. I was like, you can't just,
Well, you can't set it up like a reptarium.
Right.
No, I mean, it's an alien environment. It has to be contained.
Jesus Lizard says Pacu are super hardy. Of all the fish they donated, I would be surprised if something happened to the Pacu, which makes sense because the most fish in there that should have not made the trip was a short body Peru shark.
Yeah.
He's already limited in his abilities, and what else is in there?
The gar.
No, the gar are pretty hardy.
Yeah.
Even though they're albino, they're pretty dang hardy. Belle Marie sent $9.99. Says, love you guys. Aw, we love you too, Belle. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, one thing people, the older a fish is, it tends to be a little bit more sensitive to big changes. You
Yeah.
can usually change one or two things in its environment without any problem, but you never know.
Man, well, Charlie was
And
pretty
with big
old.
fish like that, they get harder to handle, and there's accidents happen.
Yeah, the albino was probably 10, 15 years old.
Yeah.
Hello 69 says, hey, from Australia. It's 8:30 a.m. here, so good morning to y'all. Good morning, Hello 69.
Good morning.
You know, here's to you. We'll drink to that. Tank, tank, tank. That's the drinking word.
Yeah.
Harley Jem says, they have a good crew at Legacy for the fish. I think the Pacu were just being Pacus and were moved. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
You know, without talking to them, I can't say anything for sure. But in my opinion, that's probably what happened. Matt Urban sent $9.99 and said, well deserved, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
They got tired of me getting ahead of him. Now he's doing my job.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jerry. That is your job. I got carried away. I'm sorry. I'll bring them up and you can read
I'm
them.
going to go back on here and start getting them ahead of you, man.
You can get ready for them ahead of me. Ashley says, just word it to help with the content. People come to watch. I mean, it's the truth. If you have no money to do the videos, we would all be bored. So it's a needed thing in people's lives. Well, I appreciate that. Carolyn Manson says, Tracy update been on yet? No, it hasn't. Let me check and see how many people are here. And we can maybe get to the Tracy. 206 people. Yes, we can get to the update. All right, guys. So one of you mods, please put it in there. Usually it's the same mod every week, but I'm not going to count on that. And then we'll do the Tracy update.
All your super chats will have to wait until after the Tracy update.
All right, so we're going to have to pause this right here. Oh, get out of that.
Thank you, Brad Isaacs. You're our place marker.
We'll be back to you in a minute, Brad.
Yeah.
After our word from our sponsor.
No way.
Stop. Okay. Let's go on to the Tracy update. I had the most amazing. You guys know that lately I've been having dreams of Tracy waking up. And, you know, one time I was sitting at the table talking to a bunch of people and we're having a drink here and there. And she came up behind me and just started playing with my hair like she used to do. You know, put her hands through my and just rub my hair. And I looked up, I'm like, oh my God, babe, you're back. And, you know, and she reached down and gave me a kiss. And it was the sweetest thing. And, you know, I was lost in this dream. And, you know, I woke up and it wasn't true. You know, I was just like, oh my God, no. And you know, this has happened 3 times now. Well, today was the 4th. It actually happened last night. I was watching Tracy. You guys got to understand. Now, people say, you know, all kinds of bad stuff, you know. And one of the things is Rich don't work the hours he works. Well, since Tuesday and Wednesday nights, I have to work 16 hours anyways, okay? I have a nurse from 7 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Then I have to watch Tracy from 3 in the afternoon until 7 in the morning, Tuesday night. And then from 3 in the afternoon to 7 in the morning, Wednesday night. That's my normal, they were my 2 worst days because it's 2 16-hour shifts with 4 hours of sleep in between. Because I have to get up every day at 12 o'clock for the community service people that are coming here. So I only get to sleep from, you know, I get to bed, you know, the nurse gets here at 7, I get to bed about 7:20, I'm asleep by 8. And I get to sleep until 12 where I get up and start working, you know. Well, this week, Marion called off Thursday night and now Friday night. So last night was my 3rd 16-hour shift in a row with 4 hours sleep in between. And now tonight, I have to watch Tracy until 8 o'clock in the morning, which is 17 hours. Robin's coming at 8 o'clock in the morning. And yes, I only had 4 hours sleep today too. So, I mean, there's 4 16-hour shifts in a row on top of the other, you know, 7-hour shifts, 6-hour shifts. You know, on Sundays, I've got 3-hour shift. You know, so, I mean, it's been adding up and the sleep is getting less. Well, my dreams have become more and more vivid. And, you know, last night I had this dream. Now, mind you, I was watching Tracy. But I have an alarm set for every 2 hours to reposition her. and suction her out, even if her alarms don't go off. But I have a camera pointing right at her and her machine, and it goes to my computer in my room, and it goes to my stereo, and it's super loud. So if the alarms go off, beep, 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 it wakes me up if I happen to fall asleep. But I try and stay up on these nights. Well, last night was my third night of 16-hour shift, and I did fall asleep. It was around midnight because at 1 o'clock my 2-hour thing went off, and that's what woke me up. So I remember midnight, but I don't remember anything until 1 o'clock when my alarm went off. So I fell asleep somewhere in between there. Could have been asleep half hour, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't know. But I fell asleep while watching Tracy. I have backups for that, though, in case. Her alarms and all that stuff. But anyways, I had the sweetest dream about her. And, she had come in and she woke me up. And, she just remembered, pretty much everything, but she was still foggy. And I was telling her everything that happened. And, I was like, hang on, wait right here. I have to go out in the living room and check, make sure this ain't a dream again. And I ran out in the living room and she wasn't in her bed no more. And I'm like, oh my God, this ain't a dream. Tracy. I went back in there and man, I was all over her. We were together for about an hour ourselves. And then, I got up, I cooked her breakfast, and then I took her over to my son's house. We knocked on the door and I hid around the corner. And I let Tracy stand there. So my son came to the door. I don't know how because he's supposed to be at work. But anyways, him and his wife answered the door. And they were freaking out. Mom, they're hugging. And I come walking around this and that. And, everything's great. All good in the world again. I was getting ready to go over to Josh's because I went to Richie's first because I knew Josh wasn't working. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But anyways, I ended up waking up. And I'm like, no. I was so mortified because this is the realest dream ever. Now, I tell Richie this dream, or I talk to Josh about it, and Josh is like, Richie had the same almost dream. He said Mom was at his house and she was, awake and back up again. And I'm like, oh my God, that's got to mean something. I mean, Jesus, that's my fourth dream like this now. And now my sons are dreaming the same thing. There's got to be something involved in that. There has to be. But Tracy's been doing great this week. She's been, not sick, no, nothing like that. You got your OFR glass, I see.
Yeah.
Let me see it. Sorry. You guys can get yours too. OFR glass, OFR merch. Now I will push this because I love this glass. So, this is heavy. You lift it, it's heavy.
Yeah, it's
not cheap.
No.
I was impressed with it. And that's been through the dishwasher how many times? Been here.
It works good.
Yeah.
Holds exactly 1 can of soda.
Or 1 can of beer.
This case may be.
But I was so like upset and ready to cry, when I found out it wasn't real again. And I was like, not again, no. So I don't know. So anyways, let me see what else. She's been staying up at 98 to 100 in oxygen. We're getting ready to turn her down another number. In other words, she's coughing out on her own. She can tell on her own when she's getting congested, and she coughs out where before she wasn't. And now she's coughing it out to where we don't have to go in and stress her throat, with a tube going down there and scratching her. She's doing it all on her own. She's self-sufficient at this point, and we're turning down the oxygen. So. She's doing good as long as we're there and move her every 2 hours, as long as we change her every 4 to 6 hours at a time. She has no problems no more. She's not sick. She's not nothing. I've been having to watch while Robin's on duty, but just like last night or yesterday, Robin worked from yesterday. It was Thursday, 8 in the morning until 8 at night. And then I had to take over. So she worked a 12-hour shift. It's my 1 day a week that I get extra time with community service and be able to work around the house. So she worked, and I took her over at 8 o'clock, and I watched her until this morning at 3. So that isn't a full 16 hours. So I can't say I worked 4 16-hour shifts in a row. What is that? 8 o'clock at night till 8 in the morning. is 12 hours. So yeah, 12-hour shift I worked instead of 16. But anyways, yeah, because she stays till 8. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, you know, I forgot my train of thought now. I was getting at.
You're talking about Robin and doing 16 hours.
Oh yeah, even when Robin's here, I got to check on her every 2 hours because she lets Tracy cough herself into a fetal position, and then she leaves the blankets on her until she's too hot and her hair's all sweaty. So I have to keep checking on Tracy while Robin's here. And then, Latrice came in today and actually gave me a scolding because there's a red mark on Tracy's back, and it was a square mark exactly like the wires coming from. What goes to her finger, that wire goes about 4 foot, and then it goes to a block, and then it goes to the computer. And that block you can unplug the finger piece from.
So she was laying on.
Laying on that block, right? And I didn't notice that because when I came out, she was laying this way, and it was on this side of her back right here. She was laying this way, and what I did was I straightened her up. I got her all straight and got the pillows out. I changed her. I put new, cloths under her, and I ran the cable the way I needed it run. I didn't see that it was under her when I unflipped her, So, Latrice comes in, and I'm like, man, that wasn't there a little bit. Well, I can't say it wasn't there because I didn't even look at her back. Why would I look at her back? I'm changing her. So I just changed her a half hour ago, and she showed me pictures where she took a picture, and it was a red spot on her back. And I'm like, well, that was, I told her about Robin and how she was bent over sideways and all sweaty. And Latrice knows. Latrice does what I do. I feel her forehead. If her face is red, I feel her forehead. I'll feel her shoulders. I'll feel her belly. I'll feel her legs. And I'll feel her shins and then her feet. And a lot of times, Tracy's feet are ice cold while the rest of her body's hot as can be. So you can't have a blanket on all the way up to her neck when she's burning up, sweating. Her hands are sweating, and she's not comfortable. Our job is to make Tracy comfortable. So I would bring the blanket down like to her knees to where, okay, her shins are cold, but her legs are warm.
I'll bring the 2-inch plastic box under your back isn't comfortable, man.
That isn't either, yeah.
No.
So I'll place the blanket at varying levels depending on how cold she is at the moment, and it just don't seem like Robin does that. But other than that, we've got a real good crew here. The other 3 nurses and me take really good care of Tracy, and it's just that one that I talked to her boss, and we're trying to find somebody else now. The problem is she does 12-hour work, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, to where other nurses don't. They only do the 8 hours. So, it's hard to find a replacement for her. But let's get back to these updates now. But anyways, Tracy's, let's still go with this. Ever since she came home from the nursing home, she's not had one bed sore. You know what I'm saying? She's not had one bed sore. So she's a lot more comfortable than she was in the, nursing homes. Okay. Matt LeMay, or no, you got to start with this. There you go.
Okay, Brad Isaacs, $10. Thank you very much. Another super chat.
I'm going to add to that. With that $10 super chat, Brad, we're going to say tank. Yeah. Everyone's got a drink to your super chat.
Tank, everybody.
It's his favorite place to be on Friday after work. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Matt LeMay says, you guys need a flux capacitor? Hell yeah, I do. I'd go back to the point where Tracy was sick and I had her at the hospital and they wanted to send her home, and I would fight even more than I fought that day. I would call the police. I'd do something, because if she was in the hospital, this would have never happened. The hospital sent her home that day, and it upset me.
Thank you, Sue Ann. She says I do a good job trying to keep up with the super chats.
Do you not see gaslighting when you see it? I'm kidding. He does a good job.
What do you want, Sue Ann?
Right. What are you looking for?
My vote on the next child competition?
Yeah. Jesus Blizzard said the queen of drama, laughing out loud. He knows who I was talking about.
hello to the wonderful panel. Oh, Garcia Aquatics. Hi,
What's up, Garcia Aquatics? We used to see them. I used to go to all the Aquashellas and all the fish shows, and I'd see them all the time there. But I haven't seen everybody in so long now. I can't get away for the weekend. Lauren says, "Is Jerry feeding his tapeworm?"
No tapeworms.
Oh my God!
Raheem, thank
Raheem
you.
put in $200.
$200.
Thank you, Raheem. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Oh my goodness. Well, 200, whatever that is.
200.
Can I click on it and see?
Is
No.
that is a money symbol?
Of some sort.
Yeah.
Why when I click on the 3 buttons next to them, it says put user in timeout? I'm trying to find out what that is in U.S. currency. Wow.
We'll
Good
find
job,
out
you
later.
two. Thank you, Raheem. You the man.
Very well, thank you. But I'm considering this is a while back, and now I'm just getting around to answering it.
Stephen Miller says, I have just donated $58 to the OFR Gun Fund GoFundMe as advertised. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, you know what? You put in 58. If everyone else would just put in $1, geez, you know, there's 350,000 people on Facebook. Unbelievable. There's 280,000 on, YouTube. I mean, if everybody put in $1, it's not going to hurt nobody, and it would make this place so much better. We'd have so much. You know what? I don't even know that we would continue this place. We might just get a building. Yeah. Josh wants a building so bad.
I don't blame him, but
a public aquarium. He wants a public aquarium.
The next one, Marcus is give money to Jerry for a planted tank. Tank, everybody. Oh,
he said tank. There you go.
I'll smoke to that one.
Harley Jim says, nice guys, such an awesome group. You know, that's what I try to do is ever since I came from Cleveland and I hated people. I really, really hated people. Everybody was a thief, a drug addict, I don't know, I was surrounded by thugs and lowlifes and scumbags, and everybody's trying to steal from you or take what they can get. And Cleveland sucked, I moved out here. And it's just so nice. I'm so not these neighbors, they suck, but I'm sorry. Well, I moved into a retirement community.
Slide that over.
I moved into a retirement community, and they're all like, they're peeking in their windows. They're like, look, Ethel, there's a long-haired hippie guy moved in next door. I think he's a drug dealer. And the cops were called on me constantly. It sucked. My last house in Cleveland is where everybody hung out at. But anyways, let me get past that. I got with you guys in this, thing I ventured into with my son. And, the fish world is just amazing. Everywhere I go, I meet good, wholesome people, family-oriented people. Everybody's just good people. And, I have this every Friday night I get to hang out with you good people. And everybody's just, I'm surrounded by good people constantly. Every once in a while, we'll have a, queen of drama enter this situation for a little bit and get kicked out. Other people, they get kicked out, and we keep a good community of just really good people here. That's what I love about this.
Am I getting catfished again there? Hello, handsome Jerry.
Ginger 123. Bernie says, hello, handsome Jerry.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's just hope it's not a 280-pound guy sitting there in his thong.
Hey, look at you. It's not that I'll take what I can get, but it's always nice to have a compliment. I'm too damn old to turn them down.
No. Uh-oh. Sue Ann says, well, actually, we just got new tires. So she left that open, didn't she? That's open-ended. Sue Ann, depth charge, we'd love to have you if you can make it. Anytime. You know that. Your family, you're more than welcome here. You got your own room. That's on you. I'm not going to pressure you at all. Hello 69 says Brian would be so pleased to see how the aquarium has turned out. Love Brian. He sent me here. Oh, that's nice.
Good deal.
Yeah. Brian was here many times. He loved this place. You know, and when you know when you meet good people. See, a lot of people have problems with me because I don't think about what I say first. I don't pre-think stuff. I just say it as it is.
Well, Brian was real.
Brian was real to me, and you know, he loved this place. He loved how we did things. He loved how we quarantined things, how we took care of things. He loved everything about this place. And, you know, to be part of it, I would of course, I'd much rather have been around and seen, but, you know, can you imagine the ecstatic, you know, the way he'd be running around crazy and just happy and ecstatic, seeing all this new stuff, you know? He'd be losing his mind.
First thing I said when I met him was, I was glad to meet somebody as crazy as I was.
Sebastian says, hey, people, it's a community, so don't say anything negative about OFR and about legacy. Everyone is doing a good job. Oh, thank you. And that's good advice, too. Don't say anything negative. You people have something to say to you. We have friends out there.
We don't need to read it all. Thank everybody.
Mark says, Charlie was old, man. I was a freshman in high school about 2000. That fish was at the Dort Mall. Yeah, they told me he was at the Dort Mall for 18 years. And then, you know, he was that big when he came in. And then we had him for 3 years, something like that, 3 years, maybe 4. But as far as we figured, he's about 26, 28 years old, somewhere's in there. Because someone else told us he was at another place for 7 years before that. So, yeah, he's past his expectancy. But, you know, when this whole situation came about, I couldn't think of a better place for Charlie to live out his life as back in Michigan, where everybody that grew up knowing Charlie at the Dort Mall, you know, he was a celebrity. And I took him from there and gave him a better home from a 500 to a 3,000. But now we can give him from a 3,000 to a 9,000. And back in Michigan, I'm thinking win, 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 win. So I don't regret my decision at all to, you know, donate him to the legacy.
Even transporting wasn't a problem because he was going to have to be moved anyway. We're going to have to move him around here.
We have to take him out of the 3,000. The 3,600 is getting put in place, or 3,500, whatever it is.
Yeah, we're going to have to handle him anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so. Oh, Madeline F., thank you very much for the $2 super chat.
Tank, tank, tank. Thank you very much.
We're a little bit behind here, but not much.
Oh my God, it just jumped up so much. Oh my God, I'm still going back. Oh, where's it at?
I think jumped big time that bad.
Was it that one?
Yeah, that's the one we just did.
We're back to where we just jumped from.
Jeez.
Wow, that was a lot.
We got some catching up to do here, people. I'm not watching down here, so I'm not seeing what you're commenting up to date. But
well, that'll let you get, you know, what you want to say ahead of time.
Yeah.
But you got to say it when it comes up here, you know. That's what you didn't catch at first.
But I don't do that well.
Just like, this is a glimpse of the future. This is now. Okay, just think it that way.
It's like plotting what I'm going to say. I'm scripting myself. It doesn't happen, man. I don't do that. You guys know me well enough by now, man. It ain't easy to stop this mouth.
Oh, you know what? Sue Ann's right. She says, I liked it when you went to the Tracy green screen for the update. I need to remember to do that. I'm sorry, I forgot this time. You know, show pictures of Tracy behind us while I'm talking about her. I forgot completely. That was my fault. I'm sorry, Sue Ann. Shauna says, I'm not a mod. I do it for the love of Tracy. She's the one that usually puts up the Tracy updates and all that. Would you like to be a mod? I mean, that's on you.
No, you're not a moderator.
No, you know. I gotta No, I gotta lower the. Oh, man,
Or the boom on it.
no, the remember I couldn't add people's moderators because
Yeah.
the text was too big. I have to lower it to be able to get to the save option.
Yeah,
It's down
okay.
below.
Because you're zoomed in.
I'm zoomed in, right?
Yeah.
Jem says, I love hearing how well she is doing, and the dreams are a good omen, I'm sure. You know what? The whole time I was with Tracy, all she ever wanted was a baby girl, and I gave her 3 boys, you know? And now that she went down and out, Josh has our first granddaughter, and Tracy lost her mind with every baby that came over here. I used to tease her, you guys got the same mentality because she'd be playing with every baby, you know? And I kind of teased her and stuff like that. But, you know, I just loved her to death because of how sweet she was with the kids. And if she knew that she had a granddaughter and she could be, oh my God, I swear to God, Josh and you know, his wife can, they could do anything. They could plan any trip, anything. Tracy would be right there. I will change her. I will love her. I will take care of her. I will rub her. I will hold her. You know, that's the whole. That Tracy would just be like, she'd lose her mind. How, you know, and she would get hurt and cry if they let anybody else babysit her. You know, I I will babysit her and I take care of her when she's here. I try, but you know, I've got Tracy to take care of and all this, and it's, you know, they can't go away for a weekend and leave the baby with me. You know, so I'm sorry about that, but man, if Tracy was here, she'd be her second mother. I swear to God, she. Oh my God. Happy American Dad says, Big Rich, I went to the Legacy and Charlie wasn't there, and the guy didn't know where he was. Do you know what's going on? Last I knew, they took Charlie and put him in a quarantine tank in the back. I didn't know that was the albino there, because someone said the albino pacu was also not in there, which leads us to believe that they were causing trouble in there, maybe eating the branches or any wires, and then they moved them out to another tank. We don't know yet. I have to get a hold of Lori. I have to talk to Lori and find out what's going on. Sue Ann says, I love my OFR glass. Isn't that thing heavy duty, solid? You know, some of the t-shirts I've been like, this is kind of skimpy. This is kind of light. And then other t-shirts were heavy as can be. But them glasses were solid. Ken Cummings says Charlie's there. Okay.
Okay.
Harley Jem says he is calling Lori tomorrow to check on the Pacos.
That's the conversation that was going on during the Tracy comment.
Okay.
So, our moderators are filling in for you, answering questions.
Carolyn
Good
Manford
morning.
says, hey, Matt, last week I seen you say Tammy LeMay. I love you. I have a Tammy LeMay that is my first cousin, lives in Michigan. Okay. Good luck on that. It's a small world, so anything can happen. Carolyn Manson says, oh, wait, she used to live in Michigan? Well, Matt lives in Florida now, so, and his wife's with him. Kyle Cremeen says, not to sound rude, but what exactly is wrong with Tracy? Kind of new here. Tracy, me and her both got sick with COVID before COVID was out, because I've had the cold before, I've had the flu before, and I've never been this sick to where I had no energy. I was on my hands and knees going to the bathroom. We have a bathroom in my bedroom, so all we had to go was from the bed 12 feet over to the bathroom, and it took everything out of us. And then I started getting better, and Tracy didn't. So I took Tracy into the hospital, Cleveland Clinic, and they sent her home with 2 prescriptions saying it was an upper respiratory infection. Take these pills and go home. And I'm like, no, she's like a puppy with parvo. If I pick her up, she's going to shit her pants. She has got no strength. She's got nothing. You need to admit her. And they were like, no. So, a day goes by. I'm still on the phone with the Cleveland Clinic. I'm calling them all the time. You need to admit her. You need to admit her. She's getting bad. And then she was coughing, and all these black spots were on her hand. And finally, the doctor says, she's bleeding internally. Get her in here. We know now that from all of her coughing, she ripped her esophagus open, and she was bleeding into her stomach. Well, she was also puking a lot. But I'm not going to watch her puke. Why would you do that? So I picked Tracy up and carried her to the bathroom. I'd let her in the bathroom. She'd be kneeled over the toilet. I'd close the door. Tracy would come out and say, I puked my brains out. And that was it. And I'd put her back to bed. She was sick. Here, she had been puking blood this whole time. How do you say she's puking blood and wouldn't tell you? Well, I'll tell you why. About a year before that, she went into, what's the other hospital here?
I don't know.
Jesus.
I'm not a local.
It's a terrible hospital. Anyway,
that's nice to know.
Anyway, she went to this other hospital. And I told them, look, she's been on this narcolepsy med. She has narcolepsy. She's been on this narcolepsy med, Provigil, forever. You can't just cold turkey her. You have to keep giving her pills. They're like, well, we don't have none of that here. I went home, got my pills for her, and brought them back up and gave them to the doctor. And you know what? The suggested amount was 100 milligrams or 200 milligrams a day, and she was on 1,000 milligrams a day. So what they did was they were like, screw it, we'll give her 200 milligrams a day. And that's what they did. Well, here, they cold turkeyed her off of a major medicine, and she went into a state of delusionalism. She didn't know me, the kids, nothing. She didn't know who we were, nothing. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And, and we didn't know it was because they weren't giving her pills. But her doctor that was, giving her these pills for more than 10 years told us specifically, you cannot cold turkey these pills. You have to wean her off of it. And so, the hospital calls me and says, she's in here faking. Come in here and take her home. I go in there. Now, Tracy is the most demure, shy little girl you've ever met. If we're in bed, of course, we're naked. But if we're in bed and I ask her for a glass of water, she would get up in the middle of the night. She would put bra, panties, and, sweatpants and a T-shirt on just to go outside into the kitchen to get water. Because, God forbid, one of the kids sees her in a robe with no bra, I mean, that's just the way she was. She if we weren't fooling around, she was sleeping in a bra, So, the point was she was never like that. I kind of lost my train of thought. Because now she was puking the sickness. Okay, anyways, let me get back to the story. Here, I remember my train of thought. I go to pick her up at the hospital, and she's laying there with just a gown on, no bra, one leg hanging off the bed, one arm off the bed, and she's got the gown going across, just covering like a nipple, and her whole side boob showing. That's not Tracy, in front of strangers, you know what I'm saying? I go in there, and I cover her up, and I'm like, what is going on here? And I look at her, and her pupils are the size of her eyes. I'm like, what is she? She's fucking stoned. What do you give her? What is she on? We haven't given her nothing. Blah, blah, blah. She's faking this. So they sent her home with me like that. And I go to put her in my van, and I was having problems. I'd open the door. I'd get her out of her wheelchair and get her sitting in there. By the time I'd go to the other side, she's trying to get back out and get in her wheelchair. I'm like, Tracy. So finally, the guard on duty comes over and helps hold Tracy into her seat so that I can go around the other side, seatbelt her in, and take her home. Craziest thing I've ever gone through. Metro Hospital. That was the name of it. So I get her home, and for 3 months, she was in a delusional state where she's going like this. She's grabbing at things that ain't there. And the only thing that calmed her down, because she was going off, if you put a towel over her head, she'd calmly sit in her wheelchair because she had broken her hips. That's why she was in the hospital in a four-wheeler accident. So she would sit there all day with the towel over her head. You move that towel, She's like, and she starts swearing and stuff. And Tracy don't swear, you know. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I ever knew. So I'm sitting there, and now 3 months later, she comes out of it. She wakes up one morning and she goes, Rich, what the hell is this? And I wake up, I'm like, huh, what? And she points at the bars sticking out of her hips, holding her hips together. They were metal bars, and all screwed together and stuff. And she's like, what is this? So I'm like, Tracy, that was from the accident. Wait a minute. You just called me Rich. And she goes, well, what the hell would I call you? I'm like, honey, you haven't been here for 3 months. You didn't know who I was. She's like, what? What are you talking about? And, you know, she didn't know 3 months had gone by. So she went into a delusional state because of this lack of medicine for her narcolepsy. Well, now let's jump ahead. Oh, wait, let me finish that story because it's so sweet. Every day, you know, I the first time she woke up, I had to tell her what happened, tell her the story. And then I'd go outside and into the kitchen and I'd show her new washer and dryer. Now, I always bought a $50 washer dryer. If one breaks, we'll buy it off Craigslist. $50, you know, we get it in here. They never matched. They were always scratched, you know, whatever. But they worked. Well, since I bought this new house here, I bought her a matching set of front-loading, on pedestal, red, you know, LG washer and dryer. My God, she's seen this and she cried. And she's like, oh my God, I love you, and this and that. And she's crying. And then by, like, say, noon, she was gone again. So the next morning, she'd wake up, hey, Rich, what is this? And I wake up, huh, what? What do you mean? I just told you this yesterday. She was gone again. So for 1 month straight, it was exactly like 50 first dates. Every day I tell her that, you know, we got sick, this happened, 3 months, you were not here, you came back, you know, here's your washer and dryer. And she cried every day for about a month. Every day for that washer and dryer, I gave it to her again and again and again and again. It was so great. The gift that just kept on giving. And then she'd stay in more and more each day, you know. And then after a month, she stayed in permanently. I've never let anyone not give her medicine since. You know what I'm saying? So now, during the sickness, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. She was in there puking. So she was puking up the medicine. And it makes sense now because 2020 is hindsight. You know, I look back and I'm like, yeah, there was a couple days there where she didn't know my name. And I've got a video of me asking her, how are you feeling? And she's like, a lot better than I used to. And I'm like, okay, what's my name? And she goes, Richard Bryce. And I'm like, oh, so you know my name today. Yesterday you didn't know my name. I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. I didn't know she was puking out her medication and she's going back into delusionalism. That's why she didn't know she was puking blood. She just puked and went back to bed, you know? So now it's making sense. Afterthought looking back. So when she was coughing on her hand, she had done cough so much that she ripped her esophagus open and she was bleeding into her stomach. And that's what she was puking up constantly. So I go to take her into the hospital, and we're still on your question, Kyle, of what happened to Tracy. Now we're up to that day. The doctor said she's puking or she's bleeding internally. Bring her in. Well, I wake Tracy up, and she's like, I want to take a shower. Fucking women want to be clean before they go someplace. Okay. So I take her in there. I let her sit in her shower chair. I have like a sprayer that's like a dog washer, you know, and I take the sprayer and I wash her off and I clean her off and I get it all done. I go to put the sprayer back and she leans on my back. Oh my God. Oh my God. I almost lost it there. She leans on my back and let out the longest breath out you've ever heard. It was like bone chilling, just. And I turn around, alerted, like, what's going on? And she's just dead, lifeless. And I get her off of me, and I put my ear to her chest, and I don't hear nothing. She's just, it's nothing. So I bear hug her. I'm soaking wet. She's naked. I bear hug her, and I throw her on the bed. And I call 911, and put her on speakerphone and threw it down, and I started to give her CPR. Well, the first time I pushed, all this black coffee grounds looking shit came out of her mouth. And I'm like, what the? and it smelled like ether. It was bad. It was bad. So I turned her on her side. I pulled her shoulder towards me. I pushed on her solar plexus, and she puked out like 2 more coffee mugs full of this black crap. That was blood mixed with your stomach acids. It come out looking like coffee grounds. So then I started doing CPR again. 30 pushes, 2 breaths. 30 pushes, 2 breaths. And then, the lady said that the medics are on their way. So I hurried up and grabbed a pair of shorts and threw it on her. Back to 30 breaths. Hurried up, grabbed a shirt, threw it over her. 30 breaths, 2 breaths. And here, from her puking that shit, I got that black shit all over my mustache. I don't know it. I'm bawling. I'm crying. She's dead. I'm trying to do the best I can in a situation where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Shit. So I see the medics pull up in the driveway on my cameras. So I bear hug Tracy. I pull her out here. I put her on the ground, and they put her in this machine that's like, oh my God, so violent. This thing went, and they were like, oh yeah, we break ribs all the time. And I'm looking at her, and she's just like convulsing, and it's just, but the medics look at me and they jump back, and I'm like, what the hell? Well, here I look like a damn zombie eating brains. I got this black shit all over my mustache and my mouth and stuff, where I was giving her breaths, from her puking and stuff. And they get her a response back, but because she was so long without oxygen, they call it a anoxic brain injury, where your spine of your brain dies from having lack of oxygen. It turns out, damn it. It turns out, if I would have given her CPR on the floor instead of the bed, it may have been more effective. Fuck. So now it's my fault. But when she got to the hospital, they gave her 5 pints of blood. She was so low on blood. So the doctor said it may not have mattered where you gave her CPR. It wasn't effective because she hardly had any blood left in her. She was puking it all out. So I don't know. All I know is I did my best. I tried my best. And now she's been in a coma for a year and a half. And then after that, she comes out and she was in a vegetative state for 3 years now. And now she's at the top of the vegetative state where, I start talking and she'll look over my way. The nurse will start talking, she'll look towards the nurse. So she's aware now. She's at the top of the vegetative state, getting ready to move into the next state. But I can't tell that story over and over again. I can't keep doing it.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Sebastian just chimed in here. Or if you want to hear Tracy's story, please go and watch some older videos without putting Rich having to revive the whole experience every few weeks. He has enough on his hands. Thank you, Sebastian.
Just
well
look up.
intended and well meant.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Look up. Let's get back to
Tracy Tragedy OFR, and it'll come up the video of what happened to Tracy. I should just say that every time. Oh my God.
Yeah, that would save a lot of this. I didn't know how to interrupt you, man. When you're
No, you did a great job there. That was. I thought you were going to interrupt me with a super chat or something. But you interrupted me with exactly what needed to be. Thank you. Thank you. That was amazing.
Well, thanks, Sebastian.
Thank you, Sebastian.
He's a good friend on here.
I can't even see these texts now. I got to put my glasses back on.
Everybody else is busy thanking him. Okay, let's get back to here. Oh, we are back a ways here.
Yeah.
Lasquez family.
Raheem says start selling colored glass on your website with Ohio Fish Rescue logo and what you're drinking. Yeah, kind of cool. Oh, look, the Vasquez family said $5. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing your job. I'm sorry.
Oh, she also said 3 tanks. So
Oh, tank. Here we
tank,
go. Drink
everybody.
up, guys. Oh, man, that takes me a minute to recover from that shit. That's crazy. All right. Thank you, Vasquez family. You guys are always there. You guys are always there for us. TJ Birch says, guys, I'm visually impaired, but I truly enjoy watching the show and all the fish. And thank you for what you do. Well, thank you, TJ. I appreciate that, buddy.
Now we get around to having tours again.
Asaya Llewellyn says, I'll be heading to Aquashella, Dallas in a few weeks. Can't wait to see the fish fan. Best part of going my 3rd year. I'm sorry, Asaya, I'm not going this year. I don't have the way to get away. I have to stay and watch. I can't leave Tracy with Robin the whole weekend. I can't.
No.
So I can't get away now. That was the whole point with Robin. She filled in the weekends where I could get away. And now I can't again. So, I'm sorry, but I won't be there. Have fun. Enjoy everybody there. And you ain't got to worry about the queen of drama because he will not be there. They will not have him back
You
again.
never know.
So,
they won't have him back?
They won't have him back.
Okay, good.
So, he changed it to where I'm not going back to any of these shows. You know what I'm saying? But it started off with they won't have him back.
It's just hard. Over G. Foster, $2. When the tours restart, I recommended you today.
Actually, pretty soon we got that tank, painted. So in the next week, it's going to be all hell around here. We're going to try and get out the 3,000 and put in the 3,500. And how do you take a 5,000-gallon tank and set it from its end down like this without sliding it into place? Because last time we slid the sump into place, it busted off a couple of hockey pucks we put on. So now we don't know what to do, how to do this. We're trying to figure that out now. But this next week is going to be hectic as can be. So probably the week after that.
Biggest problem is it's going into a corner. Whatever is under that back corner is going to have to be there forever.
Stephen Miller says, my pleasure, Big Rich. You guys are the best for fishy content. Tank. There you go. Tank. Stephen Miller. Shauna sounds like oh my God, she knows us so well. All the neighbors suck except the one across the street. Yes, Jen across the street is amazing. We just went across the street and helped her load up her furniture. She sold some furniture and she had to load the truck and there wasn't enough. It was all girls there and 2 girls that couldn't lift it. So we went over there and we lifted up her furniture for her and put her in there because that's what you do for a good neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Now, the other neighbor that was great to us was across the street and over one. And that was like, I used to call her Old Lady Marie. And, no matter what, you could bring her a bottle of wine and she's your best friend for the night. You know what I'm saying? She was like almost, probably in her 70s. And she was such a sweet lady. And she just passed. So out of the 2 good neighbors I had, we just lost one. Sue Ann goes, look, Ethel, talking about me earlier.
They throw it back our ways.
TJ Burt says, do you guys still need an upright freezer? Yes, we do. I'm willing to pay. I don't need a donation, but, we need one for sure.
Yeah, we are back a ways, James. I'm just saying, this is 200 Indian rupees.
Oh, Raheem, says 200 Indian rupees. I don't know what rupees are, but, that reminds me of playing Zelda. You got rupees,
Rupees.
No, it was rupees with a P.
Anyway.
So that was Zelda. It was good. I used to love that game. Harley Jim says, Richie, if you got a warehouse, would you empty your place of tanks? What would you replace it with? Well, here's what we would do. I would have all the best first show fish in the public aquarium, but I would still keep a couple of fish into the pond that get big that you ain't got to really worry about, like arapaima. You don't have to worry about them biting you. They don't go after you. Alligator gar will. Peruvian sharks will. The big catfish will. I've gotten bit on my foot.
You're
hard.
not going to stop him from growing out the beasties.
Right.
He's going to be growing out some beasties no matter how many fish.
If we get a public aquarium, yes, 99% of everything will be there. But my fish room will become my workshop. I will put a garage door on there. My car will go in there. All my tools will go in there. And I will have a place to work on things. I can also park my four-wheelers in there. You know, my go-karts, Harleys, all that, and use the garage for what it was meant for. Drive in out of the rain and come into the house. That's what the garage would be used for now. I'd have a big shop. But the pool I would not undo as a pool pond, monster, what's it called?
Monster pond?
Predator pond.
Predator pond.
I would not, take it back. I would leave it like that. But I'd have more safe predators in there, like arapaimas, things, Niger cats, giraffe cats.
Honestly, if you're going to have an arapaima, you need that much room.
Right. So, there wouldn't be many fish, but there would be, a couple big fish in there. And you still get the thrill of it. And, people that visit the public aquarium, if we can ever pull that off, a few of them can get a personal invitation back to, Big Rich's house and see the pool pond, So I think it would still be good, but I would not lose that. But yes, the whole fish room, all them tanks would go to the public aquarium. All the tanks around the pool would go to the public aquarium. Our pool house would become a pool again with big fish. And then my fish room would become my workshop where all my cars and bikes are stored. And the garage would be empty except for you got a place to drive in out of the rain and then park your car, close the garage door, get out of your car without getting wet and walk into your house. The way a garage is supposed to be used. So that's what I would do if we did get a public aquarium. We'd still have the pond here. We would definitely have an indoor pond at the public aquarium and have it stocked. But Tracy's pond will never go nowhere. This is hers. This is her house. This is her. I bought this for, our family. I made the pond for Tracy. That's it. The pond's not going nowhere. It will have her koi in it forever, waiting on her to wake up. That's all there's to it. Gracie and her gaggle says, you are all awesome at the Fish Rescue, and I'm glad to belong to this amazing group. Thank you. I'm glad to have you part of our group. Bruce Cormack says, is tank the drinking word? Speaking of tank, I watched the videos on redoing the tank. Wish I could come help with the tank, but I can't because of health reasons. But keep us up to date on the tank.
He's got a problem with capitals.
Well, he's enthusiastically saying tank, 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 tank,
Yeah,
tank.
yeah.
Drink up, guys. Even Sue-Ann followed it up with tank. Oh, Raheem comes in with tanks, tanks, tanks. Thank you, Raheem. You know what? You've been here from so far back. You are, you're a mod. You're part of the crowd. You're one of us. And he's clear on the other side of the world. Raheem, you're amazing. Thank you.
Usually the first one on here.
Oh, it jumped way up. I'm going back. Geez, how far back did it jump?
I don't know. I'm looking for one that says tank, 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 tank.
Yeah.
That's blue rays.
Gee, how far back did it go? Okay, I remember this.
Uh,
Okay, that's way far back. So I passed it.
no, that figures.
Jerry, if you were a fish, what kind of fish would you be? And Big Ridge too.
I'm already a dogfish.
I would be a mermaid, of course, because ain't none of y'all can find me. Jerry's a bristlenose.
I like away from bro, slippery.
Isabella Morton says, Sue Ann, are you sure that GoFundMe link is correct? It doesn't come up for me.
Oh. Well, didn't Steve, what's his anyway, say he already contributed to it?
Yeah, it showed up.
So, I don't know. Takes you to a startup page.
Yeah, let me turn my
I
phone
don't
back
know.
on.
Maybe we gotta find out what's going on.
Yeah. Come
Oh,
on.
this is where Sebastian chimed
Hey,
in.
can I use your phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
I need your, I don't know how you get this.
Yeah, this is where Sebastian chimed in about
Bring this down.
watching the earlier vids.
773. All right, calling Josh again. My phone is starting up. Oh my God, because you're out of the area, I got to put in the area code.
My phone number is out of the area.
Hang on, I'm calling Josh. Hey, Josh.
We'll get this worked
Can
out.
you check out and make sure the link is right? Because everyone's saying it takes you to a GoFundMe startup page. We've
Meanwhile,
gotten
I don't
like,
have my
I don't know,
comments
$300 tonight so far. And they're all
Can't
wanting to
see
donate
me
to
up
the
there, but
GoFundMe,
you
but
can.
people are complaining that it takes them to a startup page. Okay, can you repost it? Reshare it? I know you did, but that's way back. Can you do it again? Thank you, buddy. All right, bye. He said he clicked it and it takes you right to where it wants to go. So I don't know.
Well, different systems maybe.
Right.
I can imagine trying to do
Right,
that
here's his link. Let me click it.
with a Roku.
It takes me to perhaps information. Okay, share, donate now. Yeah, it takes you right to the donation. Donate to Restore Ohio Fish Rescue's operations. Is what it's called. $4,300 raised, which is great, amazing. Out of 37,000 it costed so far, but appreciate it, guys. Oh, I gotta put my glasses back on to see this text. So it says, Isabella, I was waiting for the right time to address that. That is the link to Josh shared, but it takes you to a startup page. No, Sue-Ann, I just clicked it and it took me right to where I could. If you scroll down, you can. There's yellow buttons that says donate. Stephen Peters says, "May I ask who Tracy is?" Tracy is the mother of my kids. I was with her for 35 years. She died 4 years ago of a cardiac arrest. We got her back, but she had brain damage of lack of oxygen, and I've been taking care of her since. So I got her body here, and I'm taking care of her, making her comfortable until she can come back. Vasco's family says, you're kick-ass friend, Rich. We consider you one. Very big heart. Oh, thank you. Elk 3110 says, thank you for telling the story about Tracy. And again, hello from Denmark. Oh, awesome. I love that our family reaches out around the world. Australia, Denmark, Isle of Man. I mean, geez, it's crazy. I would never have ever believed this, you know, if someone would tell me that when I was younger. Jerry would be the amazing Mr. Limpet, glasses and all, from Harold Manson. That was my favorite movie as a kid. It really was.
A good movie.
Matt LeMay says, I love you, brother. It's not your fault. You saved her life. Never doubt it. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
Aggressive Fish Lover says, personal invitation to see the pool pond. I don't think I'm going to get one. I have no breasts. Now, you're insinuating an awful lot there, buddy. I've invited men, women of all flavors and you know, types.
You don't have to feed them.
You don't have to have breasts either.
That's what I meant.
Oh, I see where you were going with that. That was
What,
horrible.
what else would you need breasts for in a swimming pool?
Because boobies. They're always good. Movies will put you in a good mood. You know, if you've got a significant other and, you know, you're in a bad mood and she flashes you, you're all of a sudden in a good mood. The boobies. You're mowing the lawn, you're like grumpy, and, you know, no one else does this work. I have to do all this. And your wife's flashing you. Hey, boobies. You're in a good mood. You're in an argument, your wife stops arguing and flashes you. Argument's over. Boobies are great. Boobies are what make the world go round.
Oh my God.
Mostly Maui Lowy. I joined late. What's this all about? Ovar is going to give all their stuff to an aquarium and stop? Absolutely not. We were talking about
too much Maui Wowie.
Yeah, way too much.
Yeah.
Josh has been wanting a public aquarium for years. There is no public aquarium out here in Strongsville by us. If we could get a building and, you know, in a commercially zoned area, we could charge at the door like they do at the Reptarium, at they do at Legacy, and we could, you know, be self-sustaining and, you know, not have to do it all here. We're not looking to close down at all. We're looking to upgrade and be better. You know what I'm saying? Give more people, because right now, a lot of people want to come here that, you know, we can't get work done with people coming here 24/7. We can't get no work done. So we had to stop during this work, letting, you know, tours happen. Okay, we jumped ahead again. Okay, Josh put up the GoFundMe again. Try clicking that. I'll click it now. Open it in a new tab. We'll go to it. Now it says GoFundMe. Privacy information.
It takes you right to the GoFundMe.
Okay. Table of contents. Go on down.
Well, you're supposed to see that by the startup page.
It could be. Let me click that again.
Yeah, it's the startup page for GoFundMe, but where do you find?
Well, on this page right here. No, it's closing that one up.
The table of contents.
All right. Let me go back to it. Right there is donate. Share now or donate now.
Okay.
4,000 raised. So you can hit donate now and boom, you're ready. You know, give once, give monthly. So it's working. Close that down. We still have 159 people here. Let me get this back to buttons. Close this. There we go. Now we're at our buttons.
Now, cover here, jump in.
Cherry time. Oldest and baddest says, good evening, Rich, Jerry in the chat.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, there goes story time again.
Oh, she's already up and boom, $5. Thank you.
Hey, right on. I'll take to that. Story
He
time
means
says,
drink.
I don't know if that's in their name or what, but oldest and best.
Oldest and baddest is
Or
her name
whatever
on
it says.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
She's always like the first or second one to read our videos,
Oh,
watch
yeah?
our video. Yeah, she's always there. Been there forever. You gotta love her.
I keep getting friend requests from people, but I don't know who they are. Not even if they're, common name on
Well, you can have up to 5,000 friends before you have to start dropping friends to get new friends. So you can just accept them.
there's some of them obvious you didn't want to stop.
Zach Arnold says, you are a real man, Big Rich. Well, thank you for that. I don't know why you said that, but thank you.
Friends, all right, the myth, the legend.
Mr. Jerry. You sound like you Mr. Ed.
It does sound like it has that cadence, doesn't it?
It does. It does. This is my talking horse over here. Of course, Mr. Ed.
This is a talking horse's ass.
Oh, shit. Holly says, finally catching you all live. How do you get your potos to grow? We put the roots in water, in our fish water, and they just go. They just go. Chris Nichols says, boobs are amazing. Boobs are knockers, yes. Gracie and her giggles. Everybody's jumping on the boobs thing.
Or not really. It was only a couple. That'd be normal.
Boobs make your blood pressure go down. Ooh, JRW 1984 says, how old is your oldest arowana?
That's a hell of a question.
I'd say around 20 years. It's hard to say, though, because we got him where the guy said he was 2 or 3 years old, but he was so small, and he grew, and he's been with us forever, and he's huge now.
That platinum in the 4400 is ancient.
Yeah. Oh, shit. And Mark says, we love boobs. Ain't nothing wrong with boobs. Boobs will, you know what? Everybody thinks the world's so stressful. You know what? If you have a good girlfriend that show your boobs, it takes away the stress. You could be arguing with somebody and she flashes you, you're not mad no more. You could be getting ready to fight your brother, she flashes you, you're not ready to fight no more. Boobs are great. This is why I said if I was ever reincarnated, I'd want to be a woman, because women can rule this world. They just don't know it. Ron Rich says, how is the Abba Abba? He's doing good. He's in the bottom tank below the 110 where the arapaimas are, the 3 babies, and he's down there doing good. I don't know what this means, but Zach Arnold says it was when you were all telling all that you do. Okay, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Prince Vino says, if Jerry were a fish, I think he'd be a puffer fish. Saying puff, puff, pass.
I get it.
Raheem says, Big Rich, you guys are funny. Lorenz says, I love motorboating. There is just something calming about, breastises. It's just not for babies anymore. Harley Jim says, I used to flash people during yelling fights. Men or women, screw so bad with it. Yeah, it stops. It's like, I'm mad about it. Whoa. Hey. You know what I'm saying? Boobs stop everything. I mean, it's amazing. The power you women have and just don't know it. I'm telling you. Basically, if I was to be reborn as a woman, and you guys might find this funny, some of you guys might find it offensive, but I would be a rich slut. I mean, I would have all the money I want. JRW 1984 says, do you ever bring the monster fish outside or just keep it indoors? You don't want to move monster fish if at all possible. You don't want to move them. Very stressful, very, very hurtful for them. So Gracie says, you men don't have to carry them around on your chest. Sometimes they're annoying. I don't like bras. Well, you know what? You don't like bras. We thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you having to carry them around. You know, we love boobs, period. Men are simple creatures. Come home from work, you want fed, you want, you know, a little bit of nookie, and you want some sleep. I mean, it's that simple. Boobies are a testament to maybe what's coming next. You know what I'm saying? And they're so soft, and they're so supple, and they're so nice. We don't have that in our life, you know? So men love boobies, period. And I can't get past it. This ain't a fish story. Why are we on movies, not fish?
I wasn't in the conversation. I don't know. Over here waiting.
Pop says women are lucky. Last time I flashed someone, I went to prison.
Yeah, well.
Well, look at it this way, Pop. If you had some guy flashed you his junk, do you want to see that? I don't. But everyone wants to see boobies. You know what I'm saying? So they do have it lucky.
More than a mouthful is wasted unless it's big enough for a pillow.
Okay, mostly Maui Waui says, how far is OFR from Cedar Point? We're about 45 minutes from Cedar Point. We're planning a U.S. theme park tour next year. Would it be possible to pop into OFR and say hi and look around if we arrange? Of course, especially in advance. You let us know when you're going to be here. We'll be ready for you. And Cedar Point's only like 45 minutes from us. Hell yeah. Come on out. I encourage that for sure.
Yeah, I'd let Josh open up tours again. I think he's got a few backed up.
Even without opening tours, if they're coming in from out of town, I will let them come by.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Evo says, I think you missed my $100 on GoFundMe. Really? Oh, here's one. I am so sorry if that happened.
Every time I'm sure.
Yeah, we did that one. I'm going back.
It'd be up there at the top of the screen unless you used.
Oh, here's two of them. Vasquez family and OG Foster. Madeline F. We did that one. And now we're at the beginning. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Look on your phone and go back.
It would have been on the top of the screen here.
Here, let me see if I can change that to master. Live chat, fan funding. Here we go. Okay, I got all the funding right here. Raheem 200, Brad, Matt Urban, Bella Marie, Hello 69, Marie Dean, Deb Charge, Sue Ann 10, Stephen Miller, Gracie and her gaggle. Everyone donate, we can do this. That was the $2. Thank you.
Really...
Bob Taylor, $2, we can do this. Bill Smith, $1.90. Yeah, it's not on here. I don't think you sent it through, buddy. Go check it and make sure.
Yeah,
because I don't see it on here.
If it went someplace, find it. Not necessarily put it here, but for me, that. Or maybe he's talking about putting it on the GoFundMe.
So Evo says, I think it might be. Did you put it on the GoFundMe? Because we don't get notifications for that.
missed my $100 on the GoFundMe.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay. I can.
We
Okay.
don't get updates on that.
No, I can go there now and
Sorry.
look. Let me go back to Josh's link. I gotta find his link to
I
go
mean,
there.
thanks anyway.
Oh no, it's super appreciated.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me find it. We're getting to the bottom of this. Where is Josh Price?
Oh, don't be shy. Tell us you did it, and then we can say thank you.
Yes, for sure. Okay, it only goes
So
back
you
so
don't
far.
get notified.
Did anybody get that link from Josh? Can you repost the link? Because that's the only way I can see it. I don't know where the link is.
It was right after one of the super chats. Remember, she posted it right after the.
Everyone starts going in. Rich, it's on GoFundMe, not here.
Yeah,
Mark, GoFundMe, Rich laughing out there, laughing at me.
Chew at him, chew on him, chew on him.
Harley Gems goes, don't drive.
Yeah, really.
No, Rich, Evo donated on the GoFundMe. I did not catch that. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sebastian, it's on the GoFundMe, Rich. Everyone was getting on me.
Raheem says, Harley, you bold lady.
JRW 1984 says, are you going to grow another arapaima like the one you had? It was massive fish. Glad I came across y'all's channel. Yes, of course. If we don't get anything in big enough, we have a 30-incher now, and then we have 3 babies. So we've got 4 arapaimas growing out, and they're growing quick. So Mike Kirkpatrick says it was on GoFundMe, not YouTube. Okay, let me get.
Yeah, they're chewing on you about that one.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. Harley Jeff says, I am bold, but I need to drink quite heavily.
All right, Tank.
Okay, here is the GoFundMe. Thank you, Gracie. Let me look at that. 4,476 raised. Wow.
On the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Last time I looked, it was only about 27.
Steve Alexander Miller, $50. Anonymous, 100. Kyle Stark, $10. Kyle Stark, $10 monthly for 2 months.
Wow.
Nice. So Anonymous would have to be Evo's for $100.
Yeah. 17 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's about right.
Thank you, Evo. I appreciate
And
it.
Suan had 20. Thank you, Suan. Oh, we got a way to check.
Now that's $40 for the night for them. You know.
Wow.
And now Sue Ann and Depth Charge are going to get in an argument.
Wow.
I set him 10. Well, I set him 10. Well, I set him 20 after that. Well, I set him 20 after that.
Argue all you want.
Love you guys. And Evo, thank you so much. I mean, every bit helps, and that's an amazing amount. That's not like, you won't miss it from your check this week. You know what I'm saying? That's digging deep. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
And Suan just reposted the link for you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to keep this link open over here now because of that. Chris Nichols says, we love boobs. Needs to be a t-shirt. You know what? I believe in that 100%. We should. Are we caught up? We're at the bottom?
I don't know. I'm going to check here.
Depth Charge goes, we agree on what we do, Rich. Oh, thank you guys.
Definitely.
I'm just saying, they're a family and they're raising so many kids and they got a family together and they're both working 2 jobs. And, you have to do that anymore to get ahead. And, they're both donating to us. That's amazing because, I've got to see that there's got to be problems in between there because, one donate. Okay, I agree with you, honey. Donate that. No, they're both donating. I didn't want no arguments started. So, Gracie and her gaggle says,
just gave us $10.
yes.
Thank you very much. Love my fishy family. I really
we love you too, Gracie.
I couldn't have retired to a better place.
I don't know who quieted this one, but Harley Gem says, OFR, giving boobs a bigger, better home. I'm all for that. I'm good with that. That didn't need to be, hid. Thank you, mods, but you know.
Uh, minimum size tank.
Mark says this is the new boob rescue. We will rescue boobies from all over the world. Yeah, while I'm taking care of fish, I will rescue boobies. If you're in a situation and your boobies aren't appreciated, get a hold of us.
That's the fishing question.
What's that?
It's a sized fish tank for stingrays. Back up one.
We're going.
Back up one.
Hold up.
Minimum size tank for freshwater stingrays.
Chris Nichols says minimum size tank for freshwater stingrays. Well, it depends. I mean, if you buy a baby and he's on 4 inches, you can keep him in a 75 gallon for probably a year. After that, you're going to need bigger. You can go 125, but see, 150 is just taller. 180 is even taller than that, except for 180 wide is wider, 24 by 6 foot, and that's good for another year. I mean, our biggest stingrays are 30 inches from side to side, so they need some room.
A single stingray to be comfortable with other fish and some decorations, I'd go with about a 650.
Something like that, yeah.
One of those about the same size as a king size waterbed.
Yeah.
With a nice flat.
They can move all over.
Put a couple of catfish in with him and some surface swimmers.
Puff says, we love fish and women, but not women that smell like fish. I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
that one might have been blocked.
It's not blocked. Suan says, we know Rich likes his motorboats. You guys are being funny as shit tonight. Brad T says, how do my wife and I schedule a tour? Well, it depends. Okay, there's a bunch of different ways. If we post a video every Friday of fish we're giving out. If you come to see the fish, you'll end up seeing the place anyway. If you want a special tour with like Josh or Big Rich there, then I think Josh charges $100 for that because it's our time that matters, But I mean, you can come here anyways and look for fish and drop off fish, this and that, and still be able to see the place. Harley Jeff says, "Oh my God, Reaper on a boob rescue? No, I wouldn't send him on a boob rescue.
He'd go himself.
Reap might hurt himself, Sean." He says. Chris Nichols says, "Boobs are friends, not food." Tracy in a gaggle says, "Rich, is that the reason you love fish so much?" I don't know what she's referring to, but okay. Well,
Yeah, it's getting that time.
yeah, thank you guys. It's been a fun night so far. Let me go here. We still got 153 people. Amazing. Swan goes, "Chris, you were bottle fed, weren't you? That makes a difference." Gracie says, "Rich, is that reason that you guys love fish so much?" Brad T says, "Thanks, guys. We'll be coming down from Wisconsin. I will see you when we can make it. We'll definitely donate for your time and all your amazing efforts." You were from Wisconsin. What area?
Up around Green Bay, Appleton.
Appleton, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Where are you from, Brad T?
Stick around long enough to find that out.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily matter. that active.
Well, so far it's been a fun night, and I don't get to have much fun. You know, even tonight I gotta watch Tracy until 8 a.m. when the nurse gets here, and you know, I can't take it out on the nurse that's sick. You know, I wished her, you know, please, you know, uh, get well soon. You know, happy, you know, I hope you recover soon type thing is a message I sent her. He said, just west of Milwaukee, but have a lake house on Winnebago and Appleton.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can afford a lake house on Winnebago, more power to you, brother. That's a nice area down there.
Is it?
Yeah. I installed a lion's head goldfish breeding operation in a basement right on the shore of Lake Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, it's the only house on the point out there in Nina that had a basement. They had to have sump pumps running. It had a basement within a sump.
Okay.
And the whole house had a complete sump all the way around it, like a moat.
Yeah.
And the pumps going out constantly, putting water back in the lake.
Nice.
But the basement worked.
Sebastian says this boob discussion is the only thing keeping me here. Raheem goes, boobs, boobs, boobs. I'll drink to that. There you go. Don't need to be tanked. I think that's going to be our next week's word is boobs.
Now, I wasn't active in the hobby up in Wisconsin, not much. Spoke at a couple of meetings and talked with a couple of people.
Chris Nichols says, free the nipple movement. Wow. The Asquez family says, hoping to make it next year around this time. Don't know if I'm going to fly in or drive in. Well, tell you what, if you're flying in or driving in, either way, you can spend the night here. We have spare bedrooms with its own bathroom in there, which is Josh's old room. And we spared no expense. We made the whole bathroom is covered in marble. It's got a glass shower. It's got like 8-head shower system and, you know, jets everywhere. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You can have that room for the night or two. Uh-oh. Lorenz's message got held up, so I got to see it now. I got to see what that
Who's
is.
doing all the whole?
I love nipple
okay,
clamps.
yeah.
Not too bad.
It's getting past that time.
Yeah, we're stopping talking about fish and we're talking about boobs more. I have to open up a whole new OFR, you know, YouTube channel about boobs now.
Right. Everybody join me in the tank.
Here we go. Tank, tank, tank.
Some of these are getting personal now. No, crazy.
You know, this is supposed to be a children's family show. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Hayes says, best live. I look forward to it every week. You know, we always find something to talk about.
Laughing and laughing at the same time. Yeah, it's time to shut this off.
Vasquez family says, me and the missus will be there. Man, I'm telling you, us together is a dangerous. Oh, so you want to come drink with Big Rich? That's a dangerous night. Okay. All right, guys. It is 8:05. We're past the point, and I'm out of my drinks. And you were basically dying to get out of here.
I started coughing and laughing at the same time. It's a little too high a mileage for that.
Loren says it's 2:06 at night. All the children are asleep over here. Good for you, because it's 8 o'clock here.
I just like to get that final feeding in before dark. It's been raining off and on all day.
You know what?
Whoa, we just got another super chat.
Hang
Boy,
on,
I'm
hang on,
jamming
hang
in
on.
for the last minute here.
Hang on. Harley Jim says, not always bigger. Seen some women with quite large on men. I tell you what, and it ain't even the large breasts that get me. I like the firm breasts. So I thought, you know, like a B cup was perfect. And then I found some woman that had this D cup that had the perfect firmness, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, you know, I this is okay too. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I haven't found movies I have not liked.
I still think more than a mouthful's wasted unless you need a pillow.
Okay. Shauna says, have a great night, Rich and Jerry. And then
Well,
you've got this.
James Wise, $20.
Do fish have boobs? Man,
Some fish excrete a milky substance to feed
I
the
haven't
fry.
seen it. I've never seen a fish. I wanted to go let this.
No. This fish?
Even my mouse pad, I want to grab the boobies, you know. But no fish.
No. All right, good question, but I was
Thank
worth
you
the
very much for the
$20.
$20. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thanks. Everybody else, sometimes they keep chatting anyway after we're gone. That's cool.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, everybody stay fishy. Now you can't move the thing at all.
No, it's stuck. Oh, we're at the end. Here we go. There we go. Now I got
Is
messed up.
everybody just saying good night? Jerry's a cheesehead? No. No. I did enjoy the game for a while, but just because it was local and something to talk about besides whatever. The
Lorenz Cortaz says, I like handfuls of boobs. Thank God I have big hands.
no, I'm originally from Oregon.
Raheem says, have a great night, Big Rich and Jerry. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Mark Z says, bye, boobs.
Okay, who's the boobs?
All right, guys. We love you. Thanks for
Good night.
hanging out with us. It was
Stay
awesome.
fishy, my
We had a great
friends.
time. Let me get out of here. We'll see you next Friday, okay? Let me bring this over in this stream. Close this down.